Good day, students. So this time I will share to you my short analysis of the novel titled Love, Rosie by Cecelia Ahern. But before that, I will read first the content of the analysis in this presentation. So we have background of the work, author's background, character web, characterization, plot, styles of the author, theme, cultural implication, and the implication of the title. So first, we are going to talk about the background of the work. Where Rainbows End, also known as Love, Rosie, is the second novel by Irish writer Cecelia Ahern, and it was published in 2004. The entire novel is written in epistolary structure in the form of letters, emails, instant messages, and newspaper articles. The book reached number 1 in Ireland and in the United Kingdom, and it was a bestseller internationally. The book won the German Corinne Award in 2005. In 2014, the novel was adapted into a film titled Love, Rosie, and it is directed by Christian Dieter. So, Love, Rosie is a story told through letters, emails, and instant messaging about the ever-changing relationship between the two main characters, Rosie Dunn and Alex Stewart. This novel is a fiction, thriller, paranormal, loss, literature, redemption, grief, suspense, and mystery that covers all the emotions, which makes it a wonderful story to read. So next is the author's background. Cecelia Ahern is an Irish novelist known for her works like P.S. I Love You, Where Rainbows End, also known as Love, Rosie, and etc. She is born on September 30, 1981 in Dublin, Ireland, and she is the daughter of former Prime Minister of Ireland named Bertie Ahern. She and her books have won numerous awards, including the Irish Book Award for Popular Fiction for the year I Met You. She has published several novels and contributed a number of short stories to various anthologies. So next is the character web. So these are the legend. So first is the red heart. It represents the main characters. Then next is a boy. It represents Alex's brother. Then the third emoji. It represents a husband or a wife. Then the fourth emoji that has a 3 hearts. It represents siblings. Then next is a 2 hearts. It represents best friend. Then the sixth emoji, it represents daughter. Then the last represents father. So these are the characters of the novel titled Love, Rosie by Cecelia Ahern. So Rosie and Alex are the main characters of the novel, and they are best friends since childhood. Then Alex has a brother named Phil, and he has also 2 wives, namely Sally and Bethany. Then Rosie has a daughter named Kathy, and the father of Kathy is Brian. Then Kathy has also a friend named Toby. Then Rosie has 2 siblings named Stephanie and Kevin, and she has also a friend named Robbie. Then Rosie has a husband named Greg. So next is the characterization. Rosie Dunn, one of the main characters who lives in Dublin with her daughter named Kathy and has always dreamed of working in a hotel. Alex Stewart, the other main character of the book, originally from Dublin where he grew up with Rosie, and his family moved to Boston where he eventually becomes a surgeon. He gets married there, but later on, he discovers that he has a feelings for Rosie. Brian, Kathy's father. Phil Stewart. He's the brother of Alex Stewart. Next, Bethany Williams, Alex's second wife. She was his first girlfriend in high school, but they were reunited years later. Stephanie, Rosie's older sister. Kevin, Rosie's younger brother. Greg Collins, a minor character in the book who married Rosie, and soon it becomes apparent that Greg is not right for Rosie and he is unfaithful to her. Sally Gruber, She met Alex in Boston and they fall in love in each other, and then they get married and have a son named Josh. And soon their relationship begins having problems. Next, Mrs. Jolly Cassie, also known as Mrs. Big Nose Smelly Breath Cassie by Rosie and Alex. Towards the middle of the story, after quitting her job, she goes to work at her old primary school as a receptionist and the two become friends. Katy Dawn, daughter of Rosie. She has a best friend named Toby, and their relationship mirrors the relationship that Rosie and Alex had as they are children. The next, Robbie. She's the best friend of Rosie after they met working in an office for a stationery company. She is always on hand to offer Rosie an advice when she is unsure of her feelings and her love life. Then Toby, Kathy's best friend, and the relationship is very similar to the relationship of Rosie and Alex had as they are children. They lose touch and met after several years where they realized they were always meant to be more than friends. Then next is the plot. Alex and Rosie have been best friends for almost as long as they can remember. During Rosie's 18th birthday, Alex kisses Rosie, who is drunk, and he realizes that he has a romantic feelings for her. And Rosie regrets it, and she tells Alex that it would never happen again. Greg, the fittest guy in their year, asked Rosie to the school dance, while she originally intended to go with Alex. And she accepts Greg's offer when she learns that Alex is thinking about going to the dance with a girl named Bethany. After the dance, Rosie had a sex with Greg, but the condom slips off inside her. Then, Rosie aspires to one day she can run her own hotel and applies and gets accepted to a hotel management course at Boston University. She rushes to tell Alex but finds him having sex with Bethany, which causes her to vomit. Rosie discovers that she is pregnant but refuses to tell Alex, fearing that he will forget his chance to study at Harvard to help take care of her. After Alex leaves for the United States, Rosie gives birth to her daughter, whom she named Katy. Alex learns of Rosie's pregnancy from Bethany, and he becomes Katy's godfather. 5 years later, Rosie visits Alex in Boston and they spend the night together talking and visiting places. The following morning, she discovers that Alex's girlfriend named Sally is pregnant. Rosie understands that Alex leaving is not totally proper, and she tried to discuss it with Alex but he rebuffs her, and Alex said that at least their child will have both parents. Infuriated, Rosie leaves Boston immediately. She reconciles with Greg, who had initially fled to Ibiza upon learning of her pregnancy, and the two eventually marry in 2009. Later on, Rosie learned that Alex broke up his girlfriend after he discovered the truth that he is not a father of the baby. Another 5 years pass. Rosie's father died. Alex attends the funeral where he reconciles with Rosie. At the same event, Greg behaves immaturely, causing a scene. This later prompts Alex to write Rosie a note saying that she deserves someone better and that he can be that better man. However, Greg intercepts the note and hides it from Rosie. Later on, Rosie discovers that Greg is cheating on her and kicks him out. While Rosie disposing her things, she found a letter from Alex and she called Alex, but she discovers that Bethany is now living with him and the two are now totally engaged. Rosie decided to interrupt the wedding, but she fails as the church ceremony is over by the time she arrives. At the reception, Rosie gives a speech telling Alex that she loves him as a friend. Her daughter named Katy brings a friend named Tabby with her to the wedding, and a friendship that is reminiscent of Rosie and Alex when they were children. During a dance, Toby suddenly kisses Cathy, but Cathy pushes him away and she runs outside. Then Rosie and Alex follow her. Alex counsels and tells her to follow her feelings with Toby or she might regret it, alluding to how he felt about Rosie. Then after a moment, Toby finds Cathy and apologizes for what he did, as he asks her to forget what just happened. Then suddenly Cathy interrupts him with a kiss. In that moment, Alex learns that Rosie does not remember the kiss that they shared on her 18th birthday. He realizes that he had been mistaken in interpreting her desire to forget that night as her wanting to stay platonic. Using her inheritance from her father, Rosie finally fulfills her ambition to start her own hotel. Then Alex is her second guest. When he arrives, he tells Rosie that he ended his marriage with Bethany and shares with her a recurring dream that he has had about the two of them being together. Then finally, they kiss. So next is the styles of the author. Flashback. So in the novel, the flashback there is when Alex discovers that he has a romantic feelings for Rosie. So next is the theme. First, friendship is a relationship of mutual affection between two or more people. So, friendship is a form of love which link loyalty towards each other and it shares interest and support. Just like in the novel, Rosie and Alex are best friends since childhood, and they show love and support towards each other. Then next, love often grows with time. All people have the ability to give love and we need to receive it. Feelings and behavior is a form of love. Love is influenced by friendship when they spend time together. Like what Rosie and Alex did, they show love to each other. Then next, how time and circumstances can change things. In the novel, their friendship is tested by time and circumstances, and the situations become even more difficult when love starts to tangle things up. So Rosie and Alex are faced with the decision of giving up everything for love or living in silence for the rest of their separate lives. And the next is the cultural implication. So this novel presents characters and actions as representation of real life condition and the situation of the human. The characters or the people in the real have ambition, desire, joy, sadness, egoism, feeling, thought, and many things that deal with fact of human life. So, this novel talks about the real life experiences and it also talks about the imagination of the author. And the last is the implication of the title. Love Rosie focuses on the lives of Rosie and Alex. They are destined to each other and everyone seems to know it but them. Rosie and Alex are best friends since childhood, but they are separated as teenagers when Alex and his family relocated from Dublin to Boston. Like two ships always passing in the night, Rosie and Alex stay friends, and by the years past, the two remain firmly attached through via letters and emails. Heartbroken and they learn to live without each other. But destiny is a funny thing. In this novel, several missed opportunities, but Rosie and Alex learned that fate isn't quite done with them yet. So, that is the end of my analysis of the novel titled Love Rosie by Cecelia Ahern. Thank you for listening and God bless.